and he kept holding on to her wrist. And I finally said, "What are you doing?" And they had just taken out an IV that had gone, right into a artery there, and he was holding on to it so that it didn't start gushing blood all over the place. He was waiting for it to clot, and it took a very long time. But she was great. She had her sense of humor fully intact, even though she was very groggy. And I had to feed her ice chips, and her eyes kept sort of losing their focus. And I would ask her a question. She had no idea what I was talking about. And so that was a lot of fun to talk to her in that state. But then they started unhooking her while I was there to wheel her to her room. But I told her, "Sorry, Suzanne, we're pulling the plug." And
how'd she take that?
No, she laughed. She was a little dopey. She was giddy.
She's always a little dopey. How dopey was she, Doria?
She was dopey.
Oof.
And so I was only there for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, I guess. But yeah, hospitals. Not a big fan of them.
No.
And going through that recovery room with all these other people recovering from surgery, and Suzanne has people lined up to go see her, and none of these other people had visitors. It was just, I felt like I shouldn't be in that room. It seemed like that's a moment where you do not want strangers wandering around. It's bad enough that you've got doctors and nurses coming and, prodding you and poking you at all hours.
And not in a fun way. Yeah.
But yeah, it just seems very intense.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. It's just yucky. Well, I'm glad. I hope she's doing all right. We send good healing thoughts out to her. Did she? You know what you should tell her? Tell her she had a Dyson vacuum hose attached to her. That was what they sewed on instead of a penis this time. And see what she thinks of it. Just get a piece of a vacuum hose and just put it in bed with her. And tell look, because she'll be a little out of it, right? Look.
Oh, at one point, when they had disconnected her, the orderly came to wheel her out. They're going around. There's all this activity, and she and I are talking. All of a sudden, he picks up this big. It looked like a scuba tank, some sort of oxygen tank, and I don't know what was in there, but and he put it on her bed right next to her, and she went, "Whoa, what is that?" I told her it was the propulsion that was going to get her down the hall, but we still don't know what that was for, because it wasn't hooked up to anything, and they didn't make her breathe out of it or take little hits and talk funny. I have no idea why there was this big scuba tank on her bed.
Maybe they're Greg. That's right. Maybe they're giving it to her. Maybe she
they're
gets taken
fans of
home.
Suzanne. They were giving it to her. Maybe she was babbling about scuba diving or something like that in her post-op state.
Yeah.
No.
It was she's a post-op tranny now. Is really what she is. Trans. I know. So she's a post-op tranny. So good for her. And I'm telling you, get that Dyson vacuum. You could totally fool her, right? Because is she wearing her contacts again? No, not yet. Probably, right? So tell her to look down and say, "Oh, look what they gave me. I got I hope the insurance pays for how big this is." And it could work out. When we return to the Frank Show, Suzanne, we wish you well. In all seriousness, we love you to pieces. When we return to the Frank Show, more fun. And coming up later, honestly, they tell us we're going to have 5 minutes in heaven with Justin Bieber. For reals. So we'll do that when we return to the Frank Show here on OutQ, Sirius 109, XM 98.
Beginning Sunday, it's 30 teams in 30 days on MLB Network Radio as we hit the road for a tour of spring training.
Here at the Angel Spring Training Facility, Grapefruit League Tour continues. Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona.
Join Jim Bowden, Kevin Kennedy, and Jim Duquette as MLB Network Radio's experts get you closer to the team and players you love to follow.
Josh Hamilton, Derek Jeter, Albert Pujols.
Spring training baseball talk lives on MLB Network Radio, Sirius 210.
Please stay tuned to the following public announcement. The government and private banks are liquidating houses now. These houses have been foreclosed, confiscated, or repossessed and will be sold. Homes may be sold for very little money down. To learn how to get a free list of foreclosures, call 800-354-8211. All listeners whose last name begins with the letter A through N are allowed to start calling now. Listeners whose last name begins with O through Z can begin calling tomorrow, 9 a.m. Every house must be sold. The government and banks are very motivated to sell these homes quickly, so listings may not always remain available in all areas. So act now. I repeat, this is a public announcement. All listeners whose last name begins with the letter A through N can start calling now. Listeners whose last name begins with O through Z can begin calling tomorrow, 9 a.m. Call CRN's national toll-free hotline to learn how to get your free foreclosure list at 800-354-8211. That's 800-354-8211.
This is a special announcement to all Americans who owe more than $10,000 in credit card debt and are living paycheck to paycheck. Are you tired of paying high interest charges and outrageous fees? Start putting your hard-earned money back in your pocket and stop stressing about debt. The National Debt Relief Group has been established to reduce consumer debt. Consumers who call now will receive a free 5-minute consultation.
Call 800-486-1426. 800-486-1426. 800-486-1426.
All right, who ordered the creme brulee?
Not me, I'm a twinkle sprinkler.
Now back to the high-calorie fun of the Frank DeCARO Show.
Yes, it's Frank DeCARO. They tell us we are really going to be talking to the lovely Justin Bieber, and we're excited about that, as well as director John Chu, whose movie is It's Never Say Never. You know, that's the movie they did together. Justin Bieber, Never Say Never, unless you're asked, will you do the Frank Show again? In which case, never's okay. We do the Frank Show? Never! But don't they say Justin's going to be with us, so we'll have a little fun with it. And it's for real. This isn't a gag. It's not like, I'm in the hall. Hi, I'm Justin. I mean, it's like supposed to really be him. And it could be any 16-year-old, though. I wouldn't know. But they say it's him. Now, Miss Biddle, what are you doing for the Oscars?
I am going to Stephanie Howard's house. Remember Stephanie Howard?
Fun.
Another comedian, very funny woman.
I love her.
And
I love on her, not as much as Suzanne, because I have a warm place in my heart for Suzanne and her. Now that she's Steve Westenhofer, I love her. So there's that. Now, but good. So you'll have. It's going to be like Lesbians Akimbo. Is going to be dykes everywhere.
Some.
We'll bring some. I mean, maybe get a few. Maybe Stephanie won't have enough. She might need more. You could bring. Maybe she doesn't know any. Maybe you should bring them in there, Doria, and, get it. Bring her the whole buttload or busload. I going to say, buttload is good too, but busload is what I meant. Bring them on.
Can I get away from lesbians just for one evening?
No. If I can't, you can't. No, I think it has to be there. So I'm excited. I'm having a couple of friends over, and we're all going to cook recipes from my forthcoming book. Doria, we're going to do recipes from the Dead Celebrity Cookbook. So I'm excited. We're going to watch together. And this is the important, that's just for me to enjoy. The thing for all of us, that's a fun thing, is I'll be live tweeting bitchy comments all night. So follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Frank DeCARO Show. So do that. And maybe Doria, will get her to tweet occasionally and or not. Anyway, she'll say, how many lesbians are there, Doria? And then you could count, and it's go up and ask and say, it could be fun, but I'm kind of excited about it. I think Anne Hathaway and James Franco and his one arm are going to do really well. I'm excited about that. And Doria, our Oscar roundtable with Judy Gold and Michael Musto and the loose chanteuse herself, Miss Marla Jean Merman. We're going to sit around and talk Oscars at 7:00 and then repeat it at 8:00 on Sunday, right before the awards. So definitely give a list. The 7:00 is before the awards. The 8 is during the awards. But maybe you're in your car and you're on your way. You say, God damn it, I'm running late to my my Oscar party. I think I'll listen again. So you could listen between 7 and 9. So you'll hear a 1-hour Oscar special. And I moderate, and it's fun. And the kids have lots of fun things to say. I'll bet. I will bet that they're funny. Okay? I have another bet. I bet you one of them will show up late for the special. I'm just going to put money down. I would say perhaps one would be late for the special. Yes. So anyway, but maybe not. You never know. Now, Carla in California, you're on the Frank Show.
Hi. Good morning. How are you?
I'm just fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm going to be in the bleachers on the red carpet.
Oh my goodness! So did you have to?
Wow.
How much? How much background check did you have to go through?
Oh my God! I thought I was buying another house. It was amazing. At one point, because you're excited. My husband's like, are you sure it's not a scam? And I'm like, And then
did you have to pay for it?
No.
Okay.
Did your husband at any point have to drop his pants and bend over?
No, but we did have to do like a passport. We had to go do like a passport photo and send all this information. And then they sent us a letter saying, okay, you've been confirmed in the email and so forth. So we're real excited. We have to be there at 9:30 that Oscar morning, and we'll be there all day. And they're going to provide lunch and dinner. So it's exciting.
Now
so what are you going to do? How are you going to plan for that, like getting through the day? And are you going to bring food?
No, she said they provide lunch.
Oh, they do? Okay.
They said that they're going to, I guess they'll have some kind of light, something breakfast, and then
you
there'll
still
be
need
a box
snacks.
lunch. Yeah, and then they said to bring snacks throughout the day. And then we got an invitation for afterwards to go, I guess, across the street and actually watch the Oscars in the, I'm thinking it's the El Capitan. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that is right across the street.
And they're going to provide dinner, so.
I love that.
I'm really excited.
Will you do me a favor?
So they'll feed you all day.
Yeah, promise me you'll call back Monday and tell us everything about it?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to hear that. I think that sounds amazing. Well, have a great time. Yeah, well,
thank you.
But you're really talk about 127 hours. I'll tell you, you're really in for it. You're going to be there a while. Have a great time and call us, okay, doll?
Thank you.
Thanks, Carla. Bye, sweetie. Tony in Florida, you're on the Frank Show.
Morning, Frank. Morning, Doria.
Hey.
Morning.
Regarding Mr. Bieber, I understand that he just got his haircut not too long ago. I saw it on television last week. And I was kind of curious, when someone does something so major, their career, their life, and certainly his hair is part of his trademark. Is this a turning point in his life? Is this something that majors happen? Or what made him decide to change his image?
Nothing is his hair, his movie. Nothing is as much of a turning point in his career as appearing on the Frank DeCARO show. That's right. Look what it did for Charo. Right. I'm telling you, Tony. We'll keep that in mind, and we in fact will be talking to Justin. They tell us this will be during the next hour, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. And then in our third hour on the show, guess who we're going to be talking to, Doria? Guess
the listeners.
Our listeners. I know it's unscreened, and it'll be very fun. I'm giddy over that. We're going to have a terrific time on Unscreened, but you do have a tough act to follow. Not only Justin Bieber, but you guys were really good. With Unscreened last week, so it was quite excellent. So I'm hoping that you'll be just as good, if not better. And meanwhile, the other thing we need to remind you in the waning moments of this hour of our show, Movie Club is coming to a head. You should pardon the expression. Monday, we're going to be discussing the night of
XM98 and on the Sirius XM app for smartphones. This is America's LGBT radio station, Sirius XM OutQ.
From the OutQ Newsroom, I'm Tim Curran with these gay community headlines. A Texas school district has come under fire for denying a student's application to start a gay-straight alliance at her campus. Officials say the district is exempt from the law that mandates such extracurricular groups. OutQ's Jorge Olivares reports.
Flower Bluff High School student Nikki Pete says she's done everything she can think of to get her principal to allow for a gay-straight alliance on their campus. The Corpus Christi Caller-Times reports that the Texas teen has been prevented from starting the GSA since last November. That's even after she changed the group's name and expanded its constitution to include non-LGBT issues. Advocates are now saying that the district is violating the 1984 Equal Access Act. That's the law that says federally funded secondary schools must provide equal access to extracurricular clubs. And under that act is where you also find the distinction of a limited open forum. That's when a public school provides an opportunity for one or more extracurricular groups to meet on campus during non-instructional time. It's defined as limited because only the school students can participate. But Superintendent Dr. Julie Carvajal said in a statement that Flower Bluff ISD does not have a limited open forum, that the district is not subject to that section of the Equal Access Act. Interestingly enough, though, the Caller-Times found that extracurricular student groups do exist at the high school, including the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Nevertheless, Carvajal said her district does not discriminate, that it is committed to supporting the cultural diversity of all students in our community. Pete says she's still optimistic about her GSA, though, saying, "We're not going to give up. They have great strategies, but I think we are all uniting, and it's so beautiful. I've never seen this much support." Advocates are set to demonstrate outside Pete's school on Monday. That is until her group's application is approved. Jorge Olivares, OutQ News.
Shirley Phelps Roper of the gay-hating Westboro Baptist Church is denying allegations made by her estranged brother that their father physically abused them. In an interview with the David Pakman Show, Phelps Roper said that God intended parents to use spanking as a form of discipline, and that if her brother implied that there was anything more than that, then he lied. Pakman also brought up the alleged correspondence with internet hacker group Anonymous and the fact that he could not seem to access the church's infamous website, GodHatesFags.com. Phelps Roper said that their website is up and running and that Anonymous must answer to someone other than her group.
Are you putting Anonymous on notice that God will punish them if they carry out these acts against your website?
And he already is, and he has, and he will.
Okay.
But what's going to happen is things are going to happen to those little cowards because some people know who they are.
There are still questions, though, as to whether the Anonymous spat is actually just a hoax. Pakman also asked Phelps Roper if her new granddaughter would be brought up to hate gays. She said the little girl will attend church starting Sunday and will little by little learn her duty. Eventually, she'll choose if she wants to follow in the right path or slip under cover of darkness.
You're free to be a rebel, but you cannot be a rebel living in your father's house when the policy is you have to obey.
Phelps says it will ultimately be up to the child's parents to decide how she'll be raised. A New York appeals court has upheld a ruling allowing a survivor of a same-sex marriage to inherit as a spouse. Gay rights advocates say it's the first appellate ruling of its kind in the state. Craig Libby and Kenneth Ramphtel were legally married in Canada. Thursday's appellate ruling says Libby is therefore entitled to recognition as the surviving spouse in a dispute over Ramphtel's estate. He died in 2008. One of Ramphtel's brothers, Richard, had challenged the legitimacy of the marriage and sought to contest the will. It left most of the estate to Libby. The brother's lawyer didn't immediately return a call. A lawyer for Libby notes the decision builds on New York court rulings recognizing out-of-state gay marriages. Tim Curran, IQ News.
Sirius XM outcues Michelangelo Signorelli. What you need to know right now.
All of a sudden, Republican candidates who stoked the issue of gay marriage for years, railing against the gays for destroying the institution of marriage and trying to whip up voters, are silent about President Obama's decision not to defend the Defense of Marriage Act in court. Sure, hardcore anti-gay religious right groups are railing as usual, but people like Sarah Palin and Mitt Romney haven't uttered a peep on Facebook or anywhere else. Seems to be further proof of how much more support there is for gay marriage and how the issue is something Republicans don't want to talk about much, but which their base will be demanding they speak on. President Obama has now lobbed the issue back at them like a hand grenade ready to explode during their primaries, and it seems like Republicans are running for cover.
4 hours of Signorelli. Weekdays, 2 p.m. East, 11 West on OutQ. Sirius 109 XM 98.
Brace yourself for pop culture at warp speed.
Holy Hollywood.
It's the Frank DeCARO Show, featuring Doria Biddle, live from New York and Los Angeles.
Yes, it's Frank DeCARO live in New York City. Doria Biddle is live in Los Angeles. Mr. Greg from the House of Greg Beauty Salon bringing us together now to you. He's the one who did the new haircut for Justin Bieber. Bringing us together now to you via the magic of satellite radio. And it was funny. He wasn't really supposed to be doing it, but he snuck up behind Justin in an appearance with a buzzer and went, yeah, and just gave him a little, one of those landing strip thing. And that's how Justin ended up wearing a Kojak. So that's the new haircut, is Justin Bieber's Kojak.
He looks good.
Looks very good, bald. We're very excited about that. And he said, who was your inspiration? And he said, me. I was so excited. Now, they tell us Justin, for real, unless we're being punked, they tell us Justin Bieber really is going to call us. And we're just sitting around. The last time
one of the listeners posted on your Facebook page something that I think might be true, Frank. It may be a sting. This may be to catch a predator.
It might be.
Oh, that's funny. That's good. I think
his publicist has listened to the show and is scared off.
Now, it's not so much that, I don't hang around in playgrounds and all that shit, so don't get that around, okay? I'm not a pedophile. However, I do like people who are half my age, pretty soon, when I'm 60, it'll be a third of my age, I think.
17 is not half your age.
18, 9, no, it's not. Anyway, no, at this point, 50 is half my age. But, I do like a little spring chicken. I also like an old fart. I like a good, I like them in any color of the rainbow. I like everything, kind of. with a few exceptions. But I don't have a sexual thing for Justin Bieber, which is why I think they felt comfortable enough to at least say he's going to call. But the last time I was on Tinterhooks like this, Dory, see, I knew a word, Tinterhooks. Did you hear me? I wasn't good. I pronounced it correctly, and I knew what it meant. So last time I was on Tinterhooks like this waiting for a call was when I was doing the Bob Mackie book, and I was waiting for Cher to call, you know, and it was like 2 days. And then when she finally did call, I was like the cat in the Looney Tunes cartoons, were right in the ceiling with the claws, you know. I was so fucking nervous when you get a Cher on the phone. But that was my rule, though, was I was never going to wait for anybody unless they were enormous. Like, you know, because I remember someone who wasn't Cher kind of kept me waiting one time, and it was like, like Naomi Campbell was a C word to me, you know, and she's a C word to everybody, but Campbell is a C word I'm talking about. So, but she, you know, she was kind of like made me wait for hours, and my mother was in the hospital, and she didn't give a shit, and she was just bugging me. So anyway, and I was like, you're not Cher. It's like, I'll wait a month sitting by the phone for Cher. It's because it's Cher, you know, and it's like, you want to go, you're not Cher. You know, there are only about 6 people who are Cher, okay? You know, and I don't mean...
Only about 6 people.
Well, I don't mean impersonators, but it's like if Elton says he's going to... If they're one name, if Elton says they're going to call, or Bet says they're going to call, you know, or Gaga says she's going to call, you'd sit around and go, she's going to call, you know. If Madonna says she's going to call, you'd be like, I'm waiting, you know. You'd sit around, you wouldn't be too up. Clooney, they say Clooney is going to call. And it turns out it's Rosemary Clooney through a medium, you know. That's fine too. You'd wait for that call, but you don't try and act like I should wait for your call unless you are hot spit, you know. And right at this moment, and I hope for a long time, but we don't know. I hope Justin Bieber's as hot as spit gets right now, so I will wait for his call. So if he's going to call,
as hot as spit gets.
Oh yes, he just here on the. That's my pull
What
quote.
on earth?
When you say someone's hot spit, you don't say that.
I never say that.
Hot spit. If someone
That's
is really
a good thing.
Yes, if you're
somebody
hot
wants
spit,
to be hot spit.
If you are really the shit, you are hot spit. Okay, it's like that, you know. Yeah, which that doesn't sound so good either, but it is. It's like, oh my God, he's the shit. Okay, if it's that's how it goes. So it's your hot spit. Now, speaking of someone who's not only hot spit, she's a spitfire, Doria. On line one, we have someone who's a huge, someone I adore. Lily Whiteass, you spitfire, you. Hello, darling.
Oh my God, it's been so long, Frank and Doria.
How are things going at La Cage? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. She's still there, and she got the new blood. We got rid of all that dead weight, you know.
The dead weight that won awards and packed houses.
Yeah, we got rid of them. But Harvey Firestein and Jeffrey Tambor are in the show now. But I have to say, the one that I would wait for by the phone is Barbara. Come on.
Her too. Yes.
Was going to call. Right when you wait, and she came to the show.
So, wait.
Barbara came to the show.
And did you meet her? Of course you met her.
Yeah, I met her because she's doing Gypsy, you know. She's starring, directing, and all that stuff in Gypsy, and she was, like, basically auditioning Kelsey and Doug, you know, I think for Herbie. But it was just amazing. It's like meeting the fucking Pope, you know. It's like, oh, my fucking word. And I was actually in the show that night. I was playing Hannah, and she was like, oh, my God, you were the one with the whip. And I was like, you were paying attention.
You don't get to be Barbara with minus a vowel for nothing, you know. I mean, she doesn't mess around.
It's absolutely true. And today is the big wedding, honey. It's the big Kelsey Grammer wedding. It's raining out. Oh, my God. Is that good luck or bad luck?
No, they say it's good. They always tell poor people who've spent a fortune on their wedding when it rains that it's good luck. And it rained on Mr. Greg Cupcake's wedding, the cupcake nuptials, and then there was a rainbow because nuns interceded. So maybe Kelsey knows people and can get a rainbow, you know?
Yeah, fourth time is, I guess, I don't know, the luck of the draw, I guess. Maybe it'll last. Who knows?
It doesn't even matter. But I'm so glad you're there, and people have got to go see La Cage because our beloved Harvey, and we love Jeffrey Tambor too, even though he's never been on our show.
Love Harvey. He's Mama is in the building, and she's flawless. Bring back old school drag. I love it. There could be nothing better.
Yeah, she's the mother of us all, Lily. She really is.
She really is. She's like one of the first gay icons, you know, that I can think of. Like when I think of like someone in the like, you know, in the spotlight that was out and open and like doing it, like she's one of the first. You know?
Smart, funny, cute, talented, hot. He's got it all going on. We love him. I worship the ground that man walks on. Yes.
I know, and he's so approachable and so lovely to all of us, which is really, really, you know, the door is always open. Come on in, goes to lunch with like a sweetheart. Like I couldn't say enough things about the man. I love her.
Mama's a doll. We love her. Lily White Ass. I'm going to come and see it again. I want to come and see it again. Yeah.
Come see it.
All right, well, we'll definitely say hello, and you come visit us too, as well. Okay.
All right, I'll get you checked.
All right, thanks a lot. I'm very excited. Lily White Ass, not only when she's not on stage in La Cage, she's out front, just whipping up the crowd into a frenzy even before they get into their seats.
That's Lily out
that's
front.
Lily, yeah.
I walk by the show every day. I got to say hello one day.
Tall, gorgeous, leggy.
I think I have a picture with Lily actually.
And out of when she's not in her makeup, she's still a pretty lady. Okay, she's. I don't want to tell secrets, but you do want to kick her because you're like, fuck it, you're even cute as a boy. You do. You want to kick her. You know, it's a little bit. You just want to, you know, when she's doing drag as a boy, when she's a drag king, you know, when she's not herself, Lily White Ass, and you know, and she's dressed as a boy, which is her drag character. She's follow me with this, Greg. Anyways, she's even cute as a boy, and you do want to kick her. You do. You're just like, this is not fair.
Why don't you say that one more time? I feel like I'm talking to Stephen, who does such an excellent impersonation of you.
He's good.
You say something over and over again.
Wait, you mean Stephen, who's the new Paul in Massachusetts?
Yeah, the new
Stephen?
Paul in Massachusetts.
Okay. Stephen in South Carolina, right? What do you say, Greg? Yeah, what do you say, Greg?
Everybody pee.
Yeah, it took a while, didn't it? A little slow
At least I didn't
there.
repeat it 1,500 times.
You mean like this?
I don't repeat things, Frank.
Everybody pee.
I love shit said over and over again. I really
Everybody
do.
pee.
Stop it. It's not funny. Yeah, it really is.
Can I play that if Bieber calls in?
Yeah, let's do it. No, so Doria, didn't you tell me that Justin Bieber's on-time record, though, is like worse than American Airlines or something? I mean, didn't you tell me that he's not
I did not say that, but I did say that, yes, I was told that there is a good chance that he will be calling late.
Whenever he wants to call,
email.
it's fine. Maybe he'll call during on screen. We won't even know it's him.